Secretary General of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, once said, "By voting, we add our voice to the chorus that forms opinions and the basis for actions." And with that, I entirely agree. I'm here to talk to you about an issue that I am very passionate about. As a political science major and someone who will run for federal office, there is no cause I care more about than voting. Now, don't get me wrong, I can already feel some of your eyes glazing over. I could not possibly care less who it is you go out and cast your ballot for. But our generation is a powerful one, and our voices should be heard. My only wish is you make the effort to get out and vote and bring a friend. That's all I'm asking. Get out and vote and bring a friend. Now, granted, I would prefer that vote is a well-informed one, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I want to touch briefly on the fact that overall, not enough people actually vote in this country, as well as the impact of our generation and what we can do to bridge this gap, because it is totally doable. So to begin, it's a little known fact that not enough people in the United States vote. In fact, a fraction of eligible voters actually do. According to an article from the Pew Research Center, we are only 26 out of 31 for voter turnout among developed nations worldwide. Worldwide. In his January 2018 article for Brookings, William Fry pointed out that the millennial generation makes up 30% of the voting age population, which makes us the largest and most impactful generation of our lifetime. Yet somehow, in the 2016 election, only 19% of people aged 18 to 29 even got out to cast their vote, according to CNN exit polls. That means 81% of the millennial generation, in what is likely the most consequential election of our lifetime, 81% of our generation stayed home. 81%. So remember, we are an impactful generation. And I can feel a lot of you thinking, I don't feel very impactful. But you are. Your thoughts, your feelings, your opinions, your visions for what you want this country to look like is more important now than it ever has been at any other time. The staff writers at thebestcolleges.org wrote an article entitled 9 Reasons to Need Younger Voters More Than Ever, a few of which I have compiled. By the numbers, young voters account for almost half the voting age population, yet older generations are more likely to vote, with 18 to 29-year-olds turning out at 19%, whereas 49% of people aged 40 to 64 voted in the last presidential election. 49% aged 40 to 64. Every vote counts. As our country becomes more and more divided and margins of victory become even smaller, every vote becomes all that much more important to have a government that is truly representative of our needs and of our desires. Diversity. Young voters are an incredibly diverse group, making our voice all that much more representative of the whole. And lastly, vote early and vote often. Young people need to connect with politics early on. Studies show that the younger people form a habit of voting, the less likely they are to skip a trip to the ballot. And look, I know there are still some people out there that are saying, none of this matters, and neither does my vote. Well, you know what? Let me point something out to you. Those fat cats in Washington who got their offices so that they could continue to line their pocketbooks for their own gain instead of for that of the country, those are the people who want you to feel like your vote doesn't matter. And it's those same people who are more than willing to go out and pour the money into the propaganda that tells you that your vote doesn't matter. It was Keith Ellison who said, "Not voting is not a protest, it's a surrender." So now the question is, how can we do it? Bring a friend to the polls. The voter turnout, if all of us brought one extra person, help them register and vote, it would be absolutely through the roof. And according to the Campus Vote Project, we're fortunate enough to actually live in a state where we can register to vote online, we can register in person at the polls the day of the election, or we can register by mail. So it's literally never been easier. They also lay out all the available information for you in terms of voting as a student. And let me be the first to tell you, it's not hard. You just pick a place at home or at school, and that's where you vote. Consequently, it's also never been easier to register people to vote. If you have a working phone and a good internet connection, you can start your own campaign. Now, don't worry. The Campus Vote Project, as well as Rock the Vote, have some very helpful guides that can walk you through what you would need to do to start helping people register to vote. So please remember, we are a powerful generation that has the influence to make real change in this country. Were it not for the deplorable voter turnout among our generation in the last few election cycles, we would likely be looking at an entirely different political climate than what we actually see today. And I know it's difficult to stay informed and to stay on top of the issues, but it's worth it and it's important, and our country needs it now more than ever. If more of our voices are heard, the harder it is to drown us out. I'd like to leave you with one last quote by Charles Bukowski. The difference between a democracy and a dictatorship is that in a democracy, you vote first and take orders later. In a dictatorship, you don't have to waste your time voting. Thank you.